Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel if you're returning. If you're new here, my name is Tori, and I am going to be planning for the next week in my A5 hobonichi home. This was this week. A lot was going on, and then this is next week. So I originally was going to take the Monday off of this week because of how much traveling I did, but I decided I'm going to actually take off on the Thursday, so it'll just be a 3-day week for me. And I have literally nothing planned for it because I made it that way so that I could like relax and chill and just mind my business, try to get things back on track from being gone for so long, because it is inevitable that if I am gone from my library, sorry, I'm trying to find washi tape here. If I'm gone from my library, I will have like the most amount of books to shelve that you've ever seen. So I am just going to take it easy this week and try to get all the things done that haven't been done since I've been gone. So that's going to be the reality of it. And then I'm going to take the Thursday off. I normally have Fridays off, and just relax after that. Because I feel like if I had taken the Monday, I would just be stressed about what's not getting done, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't actually be relaxing. I'd just be thinking of all the stuff that still has to get done when I get back. So, I'm going to be using these bear sheet stickers. Like, they look like this, and they're always different themes, and they come in one sheet that you have to cut up, and it's washi tape material. So, I managed to get all this stuff cut up, and I'm going to go ahead and use it. I'm kind of going back through like stickers that I haven't used in a while and that have been sitting in my sticker book because I want to use them. Make sure I get, like, I'm not just favoring one thing over another, which I can definitely be guilty of doing sometimes. So want to make sure that using what I got. So for this week, it is just going to be a very basic week. It's going to be a pretty quick plan with me probably. But I did want to tell y'all a little bit about this week. So this week was great. Great sessions that we had and at this conference that I went to. And so I wanted to talk to you about Thursday night, because Thursday night was freaking wild. I just can't, it was hilarious, and I'm not talking about it to like give a bad impression about any of the places that we went or anything. It was like I was watching Mercury go into retrograde in real time, and it was hilarious. So one of my coworkers, we like got together after our sessions on Thursday, and one of my coworkers wanted to go find this restaurant that was in the hotel of the conference center, because she saw that it had really good views of the city. And so we spent like a good 30 minutes trying to find this restaurant, because it said that we were there on Google Maps, but we were not there. Like, we were like, what is going on? And it was just like the goofiest thing ever, because we're all like 3 grown adults trying to find where in the world this little restaurant is. So we're cracking up because we just can't believe that we're having such a hard time finding it. And we get to a certain level on the hotel where there is a party that's being hosted by a vendor who we do Like, we do purchase their products, so they were like, come on in. And, like, the salespeople, granted, they're just doing their jobs, but, like, they kind of trapped us. We were trying to find this restaurant, and instead of finding the restaurant, they're like, nah, don't worry about that. You need to come to this party. And it was like, they wouldn't let us move past them. And so that was hilariously awkward because we were essentially trying to find this restaurant to have a quiet place to, like, decompress from the day. And when I tell you this party was like middle school dance levels of loud, it was too much. And you had to, like, scream to hear each other, and it was just absolutely, I was just like, how are we here? How are we here right now? And so I was like, let's turn around and go out. And my coworkers were kind of, they felt like it was really awkward to, like, go right back out in front of the salespeople who just pulled us in. But I'm like, I don't feel guilty. We do business with them. Like, they got what they wanted from us. Like, I want to go find this freaking restaurant. So my coworkers stood there for a little bit, but I was like, no, we're going to go find this restaurant because we've started this. It's taken us this long to find it. We're going to go find it. So we went back outside and just kind of ignored the salespeople to whatever judgment you would like to put on that. I don't know. But we went, we, like, just kept going up because we knew that the restaurant was going to be on a higher level. So we get up to the floor that it finally says that the restaurant is on. And the elevator doors open into this hallway that is, like, dark. Like, it was like, if you've ever seen Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey, and he goes into a black hole at one point, and the black hole is, like, really dark. That was the vibe. Those were the vibes. And so essentially, we're out in the hallway, and I'm like, what is going on? And it is the restaurant. Like, it's where we need to be. So we get in there, and the hostess says, like, do you want a table, a booth, or whatever? And my coworker just says she wants a table with a view. And the hostess says, well, I can't get you a table right on the window, but I can get you a table with a view. And that's fine. And so my coworkers and I follow her to a table that's, like, literally 2 steps away from where the hostess stand is. And we stand there, and she's, like, cleaning it off, right? And she turns around and sees that we're, like, behind her, and she's like, oh no, I'll come to get you. Like, we're not allowed to stand there while she's cleaning off this table. It was really awkward. So we stepped the 2 steps back over to the hostess desk, and she sat us down, like, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Multitasking's not my best when I'm talking and doing something. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's too many. Oh my god. Okay. I can't, like, do things and talk at the same time when it comes to writing and drawing things out. It's hard for my brain to function on that level. Anyways, so she brings us back over to the table that we're, like, right next to her, watching her clean. And she's like, how about this for a view? And we're like, okay, we just watched you clean it. Like, we know where we're sitting. And she says it like it's a surprise. It was awkward. So we sit down. And this is, like, a very bougie restaurant. Like, I'm talking, your plate is going to have the most minuscule amount of food on the plate. And it's one of those places where, like, drinks are $12 and your food is, $15, that kind of thing. And we're coming from the conference, so it's quite obvious we're not there for, we're not dressed, I would say, as appropriately as we should be. But we see some other people there from the conference, so we're like, it's no big deal, right? Well, we get the rudest waiter I have ever experienced in my life, and it was, he wasn't rude to me, but he was like rude to our table as a whole. And it was just kind of those things where I was like, is this really happening? Like, what is going on? And so the first red flag should have been that when my coworker asked for mocktails instead of cocktails, he was already done with us. He was like, no, this is not going to be the table that gets me my, I don't know, my money tonight. I don't know. But, so he brings us our drinks, and then one of our coworkers had gone to the bathroom when he comes back with the drinks and asks us what we want to order. And so my coworker and I, who are still there, ordered. But then the third one, she was walking back to the table, and he's like, so we can get something started for the table anyways. Like, he wasn't going to wait on her, and he was like trying to hurry us along to order. It was just like very awkward and very just pushy. So that was weird. And then we're from Mississippi, so when we get food at a table and there's multiple people there, our upbringing tells us internally that we don't eat until everybody is given their food. We're waiting for me to get my food because my other two coworkers had gotten theirs already. And the waiter comes back up to the table and he's like, these meals are temperature sensitive, and if you do not eat them immediately, it ruins the experience and it will not taste good. So you need to go ahead and eat and not worry about anyone else. And we were like, okay. Granted, my coworker who, like, one of them ordered I think like a fish taco dish, and the other one ordered beef tartare. So yes, it was not like normal foods that we would normally be eating, but I mean, I think it's the person's own individual business what they do with their food and the experience that happens. Like, we knew what, like, the coworker who ordered the beef tartare knew what she was ordering. It wasn't like she didn't have an understanding and she didn't know what it was. Like, we were knowledgeable about the dishes that we selected. It wasn't like she didn't know, but she still chose to wait for my food to get there, and apparently that was a big no-no. And so, like, we're like, okay, thank you, and he walks away again, and at this point, we're just like, this is the entertainment of the evening at this point, because why does this waiter feel the need to police our table so heavily? I don't know, but it was just freaking wild, and I could not stop laughing. I was so tickled, and my coworkers were laughing at me because I was laughing, because they weren't, like, necessarily, they weren't necessarily finding the humor in it as much as I was, but they couldn't, like, I was just laughing too much, and they couldn't not laugh, and it was so goofy. And so, like, that's not even the end of it, because we get done with our very tiny meals, and when I tell you very tiny, the coworker who ordered the beef tartare she got it on 3 little hash brown logs that were like that big, and the beef tartare was on top. And then my coworker who ordered the tacos got a little steamer basket that was probably this big, and I'm not exaggerating. It was definitely like this big, and it had 2 little tacos in it. And yeah, that was just so weird. And I started eating it got to the point where I was like, I feel so much pressure to be eating that I ate my little burger sliders that I ordered. It was Wagyu beef, so it was more expensive, but it was literally the cheapest thing on the menu. And I I started eating my sandwich with fork and knife, and my coworker was like, why are you eating that with a fork and a knife? And I was like, look here, why are you asking me that after our experience that we've already had here? I was like, I feel the pressure to be fancy. And so then he comes back to the table and he's like, is there anything else we can get you? And my coworker says, I think we're just looking for our checks now. And he goes, it will be one check. And we all just like stop and look at him. And it was the most awkward moment. And my coworker's like, okay, great, thanks. And I was like, what is going on? I could not. It was the goofiest. The silliest goose was him that evening. I just could not. And we've all three worked in food service before, so it's not like we're coming from a place where we don't understand what he's dealing with. But when I tell you, that was just the most absurd and rudest freaking waiter. And one of my coworkers wanted to say something to the manager, but I was like, honestly, nobody else seemed bothered by our presence other than the actual waitstaff who had our table. And I don't think it was one of those establishments where our complaint would have been taken very seriously, because we would have just been seen as not the right clientele for the like establishment, and that's why we were complaining. And it was just going to be a waste of time. So we ate and we boot, scoot, and boogied, because we were like, we've never felt more unwelcomed in a place before. So that was that evening, and I was thankful that I was able to like just kind of view it through a lens of humor, because I don't know why I thought it was so funny, but I just did, because I thought it was so absurd. And like, it's like a little hotel restaurant. Like, why are you taking yourself so seriously? I don't know. So yeah. And then I go out to get a lift back to my hotel from this hotel, because we were not prepared for the winter like weather that we experienced. We thought it was going to be more like the weather down here in Mississippi, and we were very wrong. Very wrong, when I tell you. It started snowing at one point on one day, and we were very not prepared for that. And so that's why I was like getting a lift from one hotel to another that I could have walked to if I really wanted to, but was not trying to get snowed on and whatnot. And so I'm waiting for my Lyft driver to take me back to my hotel room, and I'm watching this other group of women who are also at the same conference as I am, and their Lyft driver literally ignores them as he pulls into the like drive of where we're at, and like drives past them, and they're yelling at him, waving their arms wildly. Like it's out of a movie scene. And he just like completely ignored them. And he didn't cancel the ride, because I was like, what is going on? Are y'all okay? And they're like, yeah, he's just not noticed, like he's ignoring us or something. And so that was another like, what is going on moment. It was just one after another of very interesting interactions with the service industry members of the city. And then so I get my Lyft, and my Lyft driver can't find me. I guess I just put it at a place where he was just like, absolutely not, I can't find you. So he calls me twice, and he's very agitated that he can't find me. And I'm like, not taking it personally. Could he be more polite? Yes. But he's also like not listening to me as I'm trying to tell him where I'm at. He's more focused on the fact that his GPS won't tell him the correct place that I'm at. So he's like, he's still like going up and down the street next to where I'm at, trying to find me while driving. And you know, like, that's the time where you just kind of need to pull over and regroup, right? But he said, absolutely not. I'm just going to keep driving back and forth until you find me, instead of the other way around. So I was like, at this point, I've already committed. I'm not going to cancel the ride on him after he's called and talked to me And so, oh, that's a dog hair. That's gross. Okay. And so I finally get to where he can see me. He picks me up, and then he's still frustrated at his GPS, right? So he is like yelling at his GPS. He's taking U's in the middle of streets. I'm like, am I even gonna make it to my hotel room? Like, at this point, am I going to make it? And so I was just a tad bit concerned about that. And so we do a U-turn because he's going the wrong way based on what the GPS is telling him. So eventually the GPS says turn right on Spring Street. And I say, that sounds about right. Just to, like, you know, confirm that we're going where we need, or affirm him in that we're going where we need to go. And he goes, yes, I know. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'll just stay back here and mind my business. And so I did go to my hotel. I did not die. But so yeah, that was all in one night. Like, crazy Lyft drivers, interesting hotel restaurant experiences. It was all there. So that was an adventure. And that was probably the most eventful day that we had, or I had at least, at this conference. The next day was pretty easy. I slept in and did not go to the opening session. I will admit that. But I think it was okay, and it actually helped me kind of make it through the rest of that day, because at that point it'd been like a 12-hour day both days before that. So just being able to have like a little moment to sleep in was very helpful. And the closing session was with Dulce Sloan, and she's a correspondent for The Daily Show, and she came out with a book, and she was hilarious to listen to. I really love her, and I didn't know that much about her before she spoke, and now I'm like going back through and kind of consuming all of the content she's created in the past. And she's also done a podcast with one of my favorite comedians, Josh Johnson, and it's called Hold Up, and they haven't actually like recorded on it. I think they just stopped doing it, but I'm kind of going back and listening to all that, and it's pretty funny. And they kind of just talk about different topics of like, it's essentially they get on there and debate about certain things like Waffle Houses versus diners and what's better. They've done stuff like that, or they've done, I think the first episode was club hits versus intellectual rap, which was pretty funny. And then they've done, would you prefer nosy neighbors or noisy neighbors? And then I think they've done chicken soup versus tomato soup. So it's just funny to listen to them go back and forth and kind of have those interactions. So I'm getting my deco down one little sticker at a time. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that was like the goofiest experience, and I was really grateful that I could just kind of take it as a big cosmic joke, because I think if I had really sat there, I could have gotten offended by a lot of that. But I'm kind of at a point where, like, what would that have done for me? You know, like, it wouldn't have done anything for me. So, all right, we've got work this day, and this day, and this day. I do have one little thing that I have to go to. I have to go to the little what you call it, and I don't know where oh, it's right there, the daycare that I read stories to. I do have to go to them. I didn't cancel that because I just kind of felt like I didn't need to do that. So I'm gonna put a little bee thing. Well, no, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a flower because I'll use the bees because I have circulation shifts this week. Even though I don't have programs, the circulation shifts still happen. So I need to. Okay, and so I'm not quite sure if I work both circulation days, but if I don't, I can just kind of mark those out. It won't be a big deal, but I just want to put them down just in case, because I'd rather have them down and one not happen than plan for something else in that time slot. And so, put the circulation there. This is a day off. I'll grab one of those stickers that I have from the Shine Sticker Studio, wherever they are. Okay. And then I do have an appointment on Friday. And y'all know me, I always be canceling appointments because, you know, I just don't ever think about them in advance. So this time we're going to actually try to make it to this one. We'll see how that goes. So that one's at, let's see, 10:30. Yes. And then we have that baby shower as well. So 10:30 on Friday. That is probably crooked, but oh well. And then we'll do this little flower for the baby shower at 2:30 on that day. Need to put in that I have teen book club as well. How do I want to mark that? I guess we'll put this little bubble down. Why not? So, teen book club will be... Definitely did not draw my arrows in, so I'll need to go back and do that. It's at 4:30. So, there. And then, okay, now I need to draw in the arrows. I'm just going to grab this pencil board that came with the hone. I almost said hone, the hone. Okay. Just another day and another dollar. All right. And put out trash. Get that one going. And let's see, is there anything else? I don't think there is, so I think I will put in we have a payday on Thursday, so put in one of these. I don't know. I don't think I would need to. Or I could put it down here, maybe. I just feel like it doesn't... I know what payday is. I just put it in as like a reminder, but could go without it. All right. I think that will be the week for me. I'm going to go ahead and like put this somewhere else because it is not, you know, I just don't think this would, the verticalness of it doesn't sit. I should have put it down somewhere else first, but I just didn't think about it. So I'll put this probably in my rings or on my daily. But thank you so much if you spent some time with me this evening planning. I hope your week goes well and that you stay safe, happy, and healthy. And I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already subscribed and giving this video a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.